You are listening to the Fatboy Show on your number one station, RX Radio. And for someone like me, when I have to think about my time in school, it's like I have to go into a time machine. It just seems like so long ago. I finished my A-levels in 1995. 1995 is when I sat for my UACE exams. So my
1990
A-level
what?
exams. 95.
Yo, Fatboy.
Where were you in 1995?
I don't even know. I was in Pete.
You're in primary school?
Oh my goodness.
Well,
yes.
I was 1995. I was in S6 and I sat my exams. I was doing the MEG combination. I did math, economics, and geography.
And you stroked with fine arts, technical drawing, what?
Did I? I think I had stroked with art, but I dropped it.
So you did three principles.
Just three. And I really wasn't into those subjects, and I did so poorly. So poorly.
At your A level. Oh,
Yes.
It's rare for people to admit that they did poorly at A level.
I did very poorly in A level, partly because I was, let me not excuse myself. Maybe I am stupid.
No, you're not stupid.
But also there was some personal issues at home. And by the way, never underestimate. Domestic issues can affect
They affect children.
performance.
That's no, they
when
do.
the home is not so stable,
Yes.
they can't focus.
The children are going to be focused. Just imagine, let's say if a couple is undergoing a divorce right at the time when the children are supposed to be sitting their final exams, do not expect those children to pass with flying.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's a thing.
It's a thing. It does. I mean, you see, when two adults are going through a divorce or a separation or any marital problems, most times they are focusing on themselves. They don't know that there is grass that is being, trampled on by their fights and everything else.
So I think it's something that both parents need to appreciate, that if you destabilize the home situation, your children will suffer for it. And I know it's easy. These days, it's all about, am I happy? What makes me happy? I need to live my life. But if you've chosen to have kids, then it stops being about your life or your happiness. It's their happiness and their life first.
Exactly. And that's why, I know this is not what you want to talk about, but for some reason, if we could consider that, given that today's society, unlike our parent society, today we have more single parent homes or people co-parenting. If we can pay attention to the fact that it's not about us but the children, co-parenting would be easier.
And it's something I advise a lot of, especially mothers. They're the ones who tend to harbor a lot of grudges.
Did you have to do that?
It is true, really. Because for the most part, they keep custody of the children if they're younger, so they're going to be with mom. And if mom has negative feelings towards the baby daddy, then the relationship is going to be very strained. So I would urge mothers that are raising children, if the father is showing willingness to be a part of their lives, you should try and make it easy.
No, I agree on that part. If the man, you see, there are levels in these things, Fatboy. There is the father who wants to be present in the lives of the children, but unfortunately, things are not working out for him. He doesn't have a job or his business is not going well, but he loves the children and he wants to do the minimal he can afford. And some moms, because the man is broke, they don't want the man to be in the children's lives.
So unless you pay up, stay out.
Okay, that is...
You're not entitled to spend any time with the kids unless you're contributing.
Exactly, and that is wrong because you don't want your children to grow up and say, our mom stood in our way of seeing our dad or bonding with our father because he was a broke man. But then there is the father who can afford to bring in some money or all of the money, but he decides not to do it. So you struggle with the children, you do it on your own, but he wants to take them for ice cream, take pictures and post on Snapchat and WhatsApp status to show that he is the father of the year. But when it comes to school fees, he doesn't do nada. When they are sick, he doesn't have money. He's unavailable, but he wants them.
But at least ice cream.
No,
it's not enough.
You can afford it, honestly, if you can afford to take care of the children, let's do this thing together. Now, for a man like that who intentionally refuses to take care of the children, when the mothers say you cannot see these children, I understand.
Okay. Well, anyway, we kind of went off on a tangent.
I know.
Because what we really want to talk about is the fact that the people that are in charge of the national curriculum have come out and said that the number of subjects that will be offered by students at A-level will now be reduced, and they're thinking of reducing it to 2 subjects, whereas before the minimum was 3, as many of us would have done 3 subjects in our time in A-level. Did you also do 3 subjects?
Yeah, I actually did 3 subjects. I also had some issues in my S6 like you. Non-parents. I was busy becoming a parent myself. So I had to drop one of the subjects because I was going through a lot. So I didn't have the concentration required for all 4.
Right.
Yes.
Understandably. Well, anyway, do you think that this is going to be a good thing? Because what they're saying is, for example, if a student wants to undertake a course in medicine, the student need only study now biology and chemistry. Typically, you would have to study physics.
You would do PCBM, physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics.
Right. I remember in my days, PCB was enough, but then when it became more competitive, more people started adding on mathematics.
Yes.
To increase their chances of admission for government scholarship. But so it makes sense to me. I know that biology and chemistry are important parts of medicine. I don't know that you'd need to understand physics to be a doctor.
And you don't need to. Okay, of course, you do have to understand mathematics to a degree, but to be a doctor, you don't need it.
Not really. So, do you think this is going to be good for the country?
I think it's a good thing. We've been complaining for a long time that we study things. I mean, to this day, we still study about the Canadian prairies. And everyone is always like, why do we study these things? I have a friend on Facebook who lives in the UK. I think she's your friend too, Rona. And she keeps saying, Rona Nasanga, she keeps saying we study about British history or European history, and our children do not know anything about African history. And many parents that have gone through the school system in Uganda are like, why don't we have our children study things that are relevant to the things they want to do or are in line with the things they want to study at university? So I feel like this is a step in the right direction.
Okay, I would hope that this would therefore lead to children having more time on their hands. My concern is that even though the subjects have been reduced to 2, they're just going to pack it with even more course units so that the students feel like they're still studying to the same degree as they would have.
But if your concentration is, if you want to be a doctor and your concentration is on mainly 2 things that are going to get you there, then if it is, heavily packed, it's okay because it is still in the line of what you want. But then what happens in the event that you do not pass as highly and can still not be a doctor, but still need a course at university? Because what the other principals used to do for you is that if you can't get medicine, you can get the next best thing.
Okay. So if you couldn't get civil engineering, maybe you'd get electrical engineering.
Or you would become a surveyor.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And so you think some students will be shooting themselves in the foot by just doing 2 subjects?
There could be a problem with overly limiting the principles, because if you're going to concentrate on one thing, then what happens in the event that you do not pass highly to get into that course?
Okay. Well, I guess we won't really know for sure how effective this will be. Let's wait for it to be enacted. I don't know if they've issued an official date.
Not yet. They are still reviewing the curriculum. They're still reviewing.
Yep. But it's a good start. I think the fact that the conversation is even happening is ultimately good for the country. I was always worried that things were a bit too static. But now that they're discussing, it means it's
a good thing.
There's room for progress.
There is hope.
Let's see what happens.